What if I told you there's a simple movement you can do in your bedroom, next to your kitchen counter, or even beside your bed that can strengthen your legs, improve your balance, support your posture, sharpen your focus, and help you feel more grounded in your own body after 50? And no, I'm not talking about a machine. I'm not talking about a treadmill. I'm not talking about another complicated routine you'll try once and never do again. I'm talking about standing still. More specifically, I'm talking about the horse stance. Now, I know that may sound almost ridiculous at first. A man hears standing still and immediately assumes it can't possibly do much. I understand that reaction. For most of my life, I believed progress came from intensity. More reps, more miles, more strain. After 20 years as a Navy SEAL, I was wired to think harder was always better. But when I got older, my body taught me a different lesson. By my late 40s, my blood pressure had started climbing. My recovery wasn't what it used to be, and the same training style that once made me feel strong was beginning to wear me down. I had to learn the difference between exercise that punishes the body and exercise that builds it for the long haul. And one thing I learned is this: after 50, the body often responds best to movements that look simple, feel controlled, and can be repeated consistently. That's exactly why the horse stance matters. It may look like nothing from the outside, but inside the body, a lot is happening. Your legs are working. Your core is stabilizing. Your posture is organizing itself. Your breathing slows down. Your mind has to stay calm under tension. And that combination is more powerful than most people realize. So today I want to walk you through why this one movement can be such a game changer after 50, and why a minute or two a day can create real results if you stay with it. And I want you to hang in until the end, because one of the biggest benefits has nothing to do with looking fit, and everything to do with how you feel when you wake up, walk, turn, stand, and carry yourself through daily life. Let's start with the most obvious benefit. The horse stance builds lower body strength where you need it most. After 50, leg strength is not about vanity. It is about independence. It is about getting off the toilet without using your hands. It is about standing up from a soft chair without rocking forward 3 times. It is about climbing stairs without feeling like your knees are negotiating with you. It is about catching yourself if you slip. It is about walking with confidence instead of caution. When you settle into a horse stance, your thighs, glutes, hamstrings, and calves all have to engage. And because you're holding the position instead of bouncing in and out of it, those muscles stay under tension the entire time. That kind of work builds strength in a way that is steady, controlled, and surprisingly joint-friendly. This is one reason I like it so much for older adults. You're not pounding the pavement. You're not jumping. You're not asking the joints to absorb impact over and over. You're creating muscular effort through stillness, and that can be a very smart trait after 50. A lot of men lose strength gradually because life becomes more convenient. We sit more. We squat less. We avoid the floor. We stop challenging the legs unless we are forced to. Then one day, everyday tasks feel heavier than they should. The horse stance helps push back against that. It reminds the legs they still have a job to do. And stronger legs do more than help you move. They help you stay self-reliant. The second benefit is core strength, but not the kind most people think about. Most men hear the word core and picture six-pack abs. That's not what I'm talking about. After 50, your core is not about showing off your stomach at the beach. It is about keeping your spine supported, your posture upright, and your movements efficient. When you hold a horse stance properly, your torso cannot just hang there. Your trunk has to stabilize. Your abdominals, your obliques, and the deep muscles around your lower back all have to work together to keep you stacked over your hips. If they don't, you lean too far forward, your chest collapses, or your back starts doing the wrong kind of work. That's why this movement is so valuable. It teaches functional core endurance. And functional core endurance is what helps you in real life. Standing in line, walking through the grocery store, turning in the kitchen, getting out of bed, carrying a laundry basket, holding good posture at your desk. These are the moments that define how your body feels at this stage of life. A strong core is not cosmetic. It is protective. When the trunk does its job, the lower back usually feels better. When the lower back feels better, everything from sleep to walking to bending improves. So yes, this is a leg exercise, but it is also a quiet posture exercise, a spine support exercise, and a longevity exercise. The third benefit is balance. Now this one is bigger than most people understand. One of the sneakiest signs of aging is not dramatic weakness. It's the subtle loss of steadiness. You start reaching for walls. You pause a little longer on uneven ground. You think twice before stepping off a curb. You move a bit more cautiously on wet surfaces. It doesn't happen all at once. It shows up in whispers before it ever shows up as a fall. The horse stance helps train the body to stay centered. When you hold the position, your feet are connected to the floor, your knees are tracking, your hips are engaged, and your brain has to keep all of it organized. That means you're not just working muscles. You're also training your internal sense of where your body is in space. That awareness matters. It helps you react faster when the ground is uneven. It helps you feel more stable when you turn. It helps your body make small adjustments before a stumble becomes a problem. And for older adults, that confidence is huge. Because when people lose faith in their balance, they often start moving less. And moving less is one of the fastest ways to age faster. So no, the horse stance is not the same as standing on one foot. But it absolutely helps build the kind of body control that supports balance in the real world. The fourth benefit is something many people are too embarrassed to talk about openly, but it matters. Pelvic circulation and pelvic strength. After 50, quality of life is not just about strong knees and straight posture. It is also about circulation, bladder control, vitality, and feeling connected to your body. For men, that includes erectile function. For women, it includes pelvic floor support and stability. For everybody, it includes healthy blood flow and muscular engagement through the hips and lower abdomen. The horse stance activates that whole lower region in a way many traditional exercises don't. Your hips are open. The muscles around the pelvis are engaged. The lower abdomen has to stabilize, and blood flow to that area increases. That matters because better circulation supports tissue health, muscular function, and overall vitality. It also tends to go hand in hand with better breathing and lower stress, both of which influence how the body functions below the waist. This is not about vanity, and it is not about making wild promises. It is about respecting the fact that pelvic health is part of healthy aging. Too many people accept decline in that area without ever considering that posture, circulation, muscle tone, and stress levels all play a role. The horse stance is not a miracle, but it is one more way to support the systems that help you feel more alive, more steady, and more like yourself. The fifth benefit is mental toughness. In this one I understand deeply. At first glance, the horse stance looks like a physical drill. But once you hold it long enough, you realize it quickly becomes a mental drill too. Your legs begin to burn. Your mind starts bargaining. Part of you wants to come out of the position early. You start hearing those familiar thoughts. That's enough. This is uncomfortable. I can stop now. And then you have a choice. You can panic, fidget, and escape the discomfort. Or you can breathe, settle, and stay with it. That ability carries over into the rest of life. Because after 50, the challenges are not just physical. Stress shows up, sleep gets interrupted, plans change, the body feels different from one day to the next. Emotional resilience matters just as much as muscular resilience. The horse stance teaches you to stay composed under a small dose of controlled discomfort. It teaches you that you do not need to react to every signal immediately. You can breathe first. You can stay calm. You can endure a little longer than your first impulse suggests. That is a powerful lesson. I've said for years that training should make you harder to rattle. This is one of those movements that does exactly that. The sixth benefit is joint support without excessive wear and tear. Now, this is important, especially if you've backed away from exercise because your knees, hips, or ankles don't tolerate impact the way they once did. The horse stance uses what's called isometric loading. That simply means the muscles are creating tension while the joint angle stays mostly still. This is useful because it lets you challenge the muscles and connective tissues without the repeated pounding of jumping, sprinting, or fast, sloppy reps. When done correctly, the stance encourages alignment through the ankles, knees, and hips. The muscles around those joints turn on and begin doing their share of the work. Over time, that can help improve support, reduce feelings of instability, and make daily movement feel more secure. That does not mean everybody should drop low and grind through pain. Absolutely not. It means you use the version that matches your current body. Higher stance if needed. Shorter hold if needed. Hands lightly touching a counter if needed. Smart adjustments are part of the process. Your joints do not always need less movement. Often, they need the right kind of movement. And that is an important distinction. The seventh benefit is hip mobility. If your hips feel stiff when you first stand up, if tying your shoes feels tighter than it used to, if your stride has gotten shorter, if your lower back always seems to carry tension, there's a good chance your hips are part of the story. The horse stance gently opens the hips while strengthening the muscles around them. That combination matters. Mobility without strength can be unstable. Strength without mobility can feel stiff. This movement asks for both, and the hips are one of the most important regions in the aging body. When they move well, walking tends to feel smoother. Posture tends to improve. The lower back often gets less overloaded. Balance gets better. Turning becomes easier. Even simple things like getting into a car or stepping sideways become less awkward. A lot of men think tight hips are just something they have to live with after a certain age. I don't buy that. I think many hips are stiff because they haven't been asked to move and stabilize in healthy ways for a long time. The horse stance can help start changing that. And you do not need to drop into some extreme version to get the benefit. Even a modest stance with a controlled hold can begin opening that area over time. The eighth benefit is hormonal and nervous system support. Now let me be careful here. I'm not telling you one movement will transform your hormones overnight, but I am telling you that the body responds well to the right kind of challenge. When you hold a horse stance, you create controlled stress, not chaotic stress, not panic stress, productive stress. Your muscles engage, your focus sharpens, your breathing can slow down, and your nervous system learns to stay organized under load. That matters because a body that handles stress better often feels better overall. Many adults over 50 deal with low energy, low motivation, poor sleep, and a constant background hum of tension. Part of that comes from lifestyle. Part comes from aging. Part comes from the nervous system being overstimulated and under-recovered for too long. A movement like this helps restore a sense of grounded effort. You feel your feet on the floor. You lengthen through the spine. You breathe with purpose. You hold tension without losing control. That combination often leaves people feeling more clear-headed, more awake, and more centered afterward. Not because of magic, because the body likes organized effort. The ninth benefit is total body engagement. This is another reason the horse stance is so efficient. Even though you are not moving much, your whole body is involved. Your feet grip the floor. Your calves and thighs hold tension. Your glutes help stabilize. Your core supports the trunk. Your upper back helps keep the chest lifted. Even your arms and shoulders can lightly engage depending on where you place them. That makes this a full-body training signal, not just a leg burn. And for people over 50, efficient matters. Not everybody wants long workouts. Not everybody recovers well from volume. Not everybody enjoys gyms, crowds, and complicated programs. A movement that trains multiple systems at once is valuable because it gives you more return for the time you invest. And that brings me to the 10th benefit: no equipment, no excuses. I say that with respect because I know life gets busy. I know energy is not always high. I know some days motivation disappears. That is exactly why simple, accessible movements matter so much. You can do the horse stance at home, in your bedroom, in the kitchen, on the patio, during a break in the day, while coffee is brewing. You do not need a machine. You do not need a coach standing over you. You do not need special clothes. You just need a little space and a willingness to show up. That simplicity is what makes it sustainable. And after 50, sustainability is the whole game. Now let me show you how I want you to approach it. Start with your feet a little wider than shoulder width. Turn the toes out slightly, not dramatically. Then bend at the hips and knees as if you're sitting down onto a high stool. Keep your chest lifted. Keep your spine tall. Let the knees track in the same direction as the toes. Do not let them cave inward. Your eyes stay forward. Your jaw stays relaxed. And then breathe. That part matters more than people think. In through the nose if you can. Slow out breath. No breath holding, no grimacing, no panic. Hold for 20 or 30 seconds at first. That is enough for many people. Over time, build toward 45 seconds, then a minute, then maybe 2 minutes if your body tolerates it well. There is no prize for rushing. You should feel effort in the legs and hips. You should not feel sharp knee pain, back pain, or a sense that the joints are collapsing under you. If the position bothers you, rise higher. Use a countertop for light support. Narrow the stance slightly. Make it yours. And let me say who should be careful. If you have had recent knee, hip, or back surgery, if you have uncontrolled blood pressure, if you have severe balance problems, or if your doctor has told you to avoid this kind of loading, get cleared first. There is nothing weak about being cautious. Smart training starts with knowing your body. But for many adults, this is one of the safest and most effective places to begin rebuilding strength and control. And I want to end with this. In a world that keeps telling you to do more, go faster, chase harder, and constantly prove yourself, the horse stance offers a different message. Slow down. Get grounded. Build strength from the ground up. Train stillness with purpose. That is not flashy, but it is powerful. Because what you really need after 50 is not noise. You need legs that support you, a core that protects you, balance that steadies you, hips that move, joints that hold up, a mind that stays calm, and confidence that comes from feeling capable in your own body. The horse stance helps build all of that. So here's what I want you to do. Stand up today. Find a quiet space. Take the stance. Hold it for 20 or 30 seconds. Just once. Feel your feet. Feel your breath. Feel your body working together. Then tomorrow do it again. That is how change starts. Not with a giant promise, not with a perfect plan, with one small, consistent action. You are not too old to get stronger. You are not too old to feel steadier. You are not too old to rebuild what neglect has taken. Sometimes real strength begins when you stop chasing movement and learn how to own stillness. Take your stance. Breathe. Stay with it. Your body is listening.